I'm alive, 5 in the morning, can't sleep. I sprayed my bed with poison for bugs because I don't know if I have bug bugs or mosquitoes or what, but something was biting the bejesus out of me day before last. So I decided to spray, and it actually reduced the biting a lot. Uh, I spent the night with Dad last night, so I didn't have that problem. I also didn't bathe. It was really sweaty, and I want to bathe. But my head is full of conflicting thoughts, ideas, and I can't sleep. And I would have taken care of that with some NyQuil, but I didn't buy any NyQuil. So I'm kind of in my apartment, sleepless, sleepless in Los Angeles, and naked, naked and sleepless in Los Angeles. And I'm just trying to make a timeline that makes sense for my life. I mean, I obviously need to go pick up my mother's ashes and bury them in Tepoztlan. I think the plan to regroup with the family is not a bad idea. Get the family back together and we can get Nanda and Shami and Renata and myself all together near TJ. Seems like a good plan. Um, Now that I've lost my cats, my sister's dogs were the primary reason we didn't get back together at the house. So I'll be taking care of dogs now instead of cats, I suppose. I've got my Del Amo campaign holding me together for a little bit because it gives me a certain discipline and having to do something all the time. Kind of, it was. I mean, it's kind of like the school classes in Valle de Bravo that I actually fed my cats for a number of months. I'm not making any money at Del Amo, but I'm giving. I have to go do something at least a couple of times a week. Uh, so I have to have like a schedule and you know be a serious person in a sense. My tendency is to get lost in myself, and Del Amo gives me structure, gives me social structure, social structures. That's why I do it. But is it enough? Is it what I need to do? The pursuit of money is what got me. Is what made me lose my cats. I don't think it was sustainable, anyways. I think I was going to lose them anyways. because Andrea and the lawsuit and everything, I would have sold the house. But maybe I would have forgotten about Social Security, and I would have just taken care of the cats. Uh, we wouldn't have lost the lawsuit. I would have sold the house and then moved the cats to a different house, a new house, property in Mexico, because I would have had the money to to move with my cats. But I didn't do that. I got greedy and I thought I could get the Social Security and I could have Mauricio take care of the house, send him money, and then when I can go back, if we have to sell the house and get the cats moved. I didn't expect Andrea uh, to win so quickly or Pin to betray me like that. Uh, and now it's too late and the cats are gone. And I feel devastated by that because that was my one desire to have the cats be okay. And they're not. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know where they are. I don't know if they ate tonight or they didn't. And they were my responsibility. It's on me. It's my failure, my devastating failure. Dad, of course, was very happy because I got rid of something that he thought was getting me down. But it's what I wanted to do. So it wasn't getting me down, you know? And now I'm here in Los Angeles. I've been looking at the campaign for mayor. It's very unlikely. I mean, the only possible for the elections in November, the only possibility would be a write-in campaign, and I would still have to get accepted into the write-in campaign. It's almost not worth it. I mean, not for the type of change that I would like to do as mayor of Los Angeles. I mean, I would have to literally become part of the problem to be a solution, and it's not worth it. The bottom line is the people here are very much in their own lives, doing their own things. I don't see any real desire for change, or they're just trying to survive. And at least here in Skid Row, what I see is a lot of desperation of people that have no hope and no real desire other than to medicate themselves out of their pain. So I don't see how we could build an army with that type of people. You know, they're not ready to face what really needs to be faced. Just get myself in trouble trying to do it for no reason. I don't say they're not worth it because, of course, it's worth it. I mean, we're facing the greatest possibility to change the history of mankind ever. But a handful of very intelligent, very selfish people um, have seen a way to survive the collapse, maybe, or they're not going to prevent the collapse, but they're going to survive the collapse and do their darndest to rebuild, I guess, from the ashes after the collapse. And, they're going to do it for themselves. They're gonna do it for themselves, like everybody else. That the collapse is that. That's when we talk about the collapse of civilization, is when people no longer care about civilization. People are no longer invested in having a society that functions because they don't believe in it anymore. And I think the belief in this democracy, the belief in democracy is even something that needs to be rescued, is over. It's finished. Because it's proven itself to be a dystopia, a total dystopia. So I don't have a dream to give you. I have a nightmare to show you. It's kind of what the, the, the wise people are saying to people are saying, we don't have dreams to show you. We have the Antichrist, and AI is going to take over, and you'll all be slaves, and you'll be happy about it because you'll be lobotomized by your intelligent machines. And what I'm observing, what I'm seeing out there, is people actually are living it. I mean, what are people doing out there in the streets? They're certainly not coming together to plan a new future for themselves. They're certainly not trying to save democracy, or they're just, scared of their neighbors, scared to be beat up by their neighbors. What type of life is that? What type of life do we have where, with everything we've done and shown people throughout, 2,000 years of Christianity, they're still living like animals, you know, thinking that violence is going to resolve their problems when violence is a problem. So, what a great waste. What an enormous great waste. People, we could, if we wanted to, today, tomorrow, change the world. We could take all our cameras and go up to City Hall or go up to the uh, police department or the federal courthouse or, you know, the banks and say, guess what? We're going to withdraw all the money from all the banks right now because you guys are doing a horrible job of taking care of the world and we have to restructure everything. Or we have to rethink what we're doing as a species so we don't destroy ourselves. But people are so invested in what they're doing, thinking that it's their only avenue, their only way to do things, that they don't even think like that anymore. They don't think of, I mean, we have new tools to change the world: cell phones, AI. And instead of taking those tools and saying, you know what, let's change the world, we're more worried about where we're going to get our next hit. You know. So when I came out of the cat house, a beautiful pussy paradise, and I lost that. I lost it because there's a system, a ruthless, unthinking, unfeeling system of greed that is the cause of everything that is going on. And the cats don't know about that. They don't care about that. They care about getting chicken every day. They don't have their chicken now. They have the woods. They'll have to hunt the cat things because somebody wanted that property, even though she doesn't need it and she doesn't deserve it. And, and she's getting me out of my house and my cats. My sister. My sister gets so scared to be there, she has to literally abandon the ranch because she's afraid of being kidnapped or killed, you know? And it's the same fucking mafias as always. It's the same, murdering bastards that have been murdering people for forever. And they're not doing it for other people, they're doing it for themselves, for their own benefit, for their own survival, even in some cases. Surviving under such conditions is not even worth it. You know? Who the fuck wants to live in a world like that? A total dystopia. I look at Skid Row, and what I'm looking at is hell. I'm literally in hell. Surrounded by hell creatures that live in hell. Because although we could have heaven, what we have is hell. You know? And we have hell because we allow it. That's what we want. I was in heaven. I was in pleasant paradise. And I decided to come to hell, in part to be with my dad to help him out. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. That's a good realm. That's a good. I mean, today was a good day. I went to see him. We spent time together. We didn't fight. So it was a good thing. But even that, it's like, I want to say to him, just get out of this fucking mess you're in. And he's stuck with Publishers Clearinghouse or whatever the fuck those guys are, Random House, and the money he's gonna make. The money's gonna make. Who the fuck gives a shit? Let's take what we have, you, me, Sasha, and organize ourselves to live a nice life together as a good family that doesn't fight. Why do we have to be, why do we have to be so focused on what we want that we don't get anything out of it for anybody? You know? Dad wants discipline and soldiers. I'm not a soldier. I'm your motherfucking son, man. You want a soldier? Go to the army. This is not the army. This is your family. So the people that actually understand that understand it better than others, I suppose, is the kids, Rasa, Nanda, Shabby, who are now, of course, Davy Jones and Alice Russo and Mr. Stegosaurus, because they all changed names and painted their hair or something. And I'll always be Donald Trump to them because, of the old fart that never changes his ways. But at least there's harmony and there's love and there's the possibility of doing things together if we want to. I mean, if they want to, then nobody's going to force anybody to do anything. But I think separately we haven't done so well. And when we were together, we were doing a little bit better. All of us. So I think we should get together. And my sister finally agreed. So if my sister agreed, I mean, that's like the sun and the moon coming together and having a meeting of the minds. I went to TJ is also a way to take advantage of the system to live a better life because the system is built here. So if you have Social Security, you can't really live a good life. You know, Social Security is not enough in the United States for somebody to have a decent life. It's just not built that way. And you can play their game. You can play the Social Security game, and get Section 8 and this and that. But those are just kind of like facets of a machinery that begins to like crush you down into a very controlled situation where the room for growth is minimal. You know, and what is growth? Certainly not economic growth. I think the real growth is social growth. It's like building communities and societies that are self-sustainable, like the Amish. The Amish have the right idea. To a certain extent, some of the older Mormon cults. I mean, certainly, I mean, the one that had it most accurate was the Unabomber. That dude knew what was going on. He really got it. He really understood the dystopia we're getting ourselves into. Didn't do him any good, but at least he gave the warning that this was coming, and now we're living it. Now we're actually in it. We're in the middle of it. And yes, we could resolve it. We could actually go beyond ourselves and listen to what Charlie Manson had to say about trees and animals and all that. And instead of thinking about, oh, I'm going to get such a nice car and I'm going to have a lot of bitches and a lot of dollars and I'm going to, be a great rapper or a great, fuck that shit. Fuck, fuck all of that. You know, be a human being. Be a fucking human being, man. Having a big car and a big doesn't resolve anything. Look how we're living. The garbage the garbage we collect. I mean, just me. I'm looking at my clothes, and I have all these clothes. I didn't even like ask for any of them. They're all here. It's like an enormous amount of clothes. What I'm going to give away. I couldn't do the zero garbage in the apartment in this hotel room because I would have to burn the garbage, and I wouldn't even know where to go burn the garbage. It's just, I didn't have the time to burn the garbage. I need to get it out of the room before it starts to like attract too many flies and shit. So there was a whole bag of literally nothing but paper and plastic sheets and broken and used bags. Ridiculous. That I had to throw away. You know. So I failed at the most basic thing to do, which is not to create garbage. I have a lot of cans and things that I have to go give away. There's some places where you can actually take the garbage. You get money for the cans and for the plastic, so that'll be something I'll have to do at some point. But again, it's the whole damn thing is wrong. The whole damn thing is just. I mean, I'm paying $416 when we rent a house in Mexico for a room in a shared bathroom. I could get at least a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment in Mexico City with that. What to say of like rural TJ or something, a house with a garden. So why should I be here stuck in this closet waiting for what? To make a lot of money as an artist? When when the entire Hollywood is a mafia controlled by a bunch of satanic pedophiles. And it's not like if, I'm also a satanic pedophile, so let me into your group. No, it's not like that. It's like they choose who they want to be their, you know, friends based on how they can engage them into their games. So what the fuck? What are we doing as a society, as a species? Why are we playing this stupid game? You know? And the tool for control, actually, is still the church. They all profess, oh, we're very saintly and we have all these family values and we do everything the way. But actually, what they do is they use that as an excuse to control each other with, growing levels of literal evil. It's bizarre. It's totally insane. It has nothing to do with reality or what is really possible. And look who's talking. I mean, the incestuous guy that, the monster that wrote the sacred books of Dagalok. It's all in there, man. It's all in there. It's the control mechanism of Jeffrey Epstein is all in there. And it's an old system. It's the old man in the mountain. You know, the old man in the mountain knew what he was doing. He was not stupid. He knew the younger the girls, the more the guys were going to want them, and the more they were going to fear getting caught. It's just common sense. So it's not a system you can break. It's just part of the structure of our society based on religious standards that are utterly made for control. And we had gotten over that at some point in the 60s. My mom did, at least. And then we gave a swing right back to the right. But like big time, like the big right. And the right is made for control. It's made for controlling people's sexuality, people's ideas of, good and evil. And when the left started to go off the beaten path into this like moralistic, dare I say it, feministic morality, the right got a lot of strength out of that because they failed. They failed miserably. The wars in the Middle East didn't stop. The entire system was corrupted by the same structure that had corrupted it before. The Jeffrey Epstein, we can call it the Jeffrey Epstein test. There's a whole meme about it now. And I talked about all this shit. That's what really annoys me. It's like I've been talking about this for decades. Decades I've been talking about this shit. William Reich. William Reich is the key. Nikola Tesla, William Reich. Even the whole Tartaria stuff, what if history is totally not what they're telling us? The institutions are corrupted. So the highest levels of academia don't want to contradict themselves, even though there's parts that contradict the entire narrative. The narrative is in control of certain people that have information than anybody else, and they don't want that information to come out because they lose control, including the alien technologies and all that. We don't know. We don't know the truth, even though we have now the tools to learn everything that needs to be known. With the internet, especially with cell phones and their little cameras, every single uh, university lecture about OPARTs or ancient aliens or technology or whatever it is that is like hidden could be known. But the real power is always hidden. The real power that is really going on, the real machinations of the real elite, they're not known to us because they're hidden from us. And now we have the power to just uncover them. We just need to do it. You just say, you know what? This is true. And we don't. We choose not to. We choose to play the game of national security and, you know, elections. What elections? What elections? Can you really elect a mayor like me? I doubt it. The narrative is in control of the people who control the narrative. It's always been. I bring a swastika to the ghetto and I say, look, let's take a look at this symbol. Let's take a look at the swastika. See what the swastika really means. And what do I get? Oh, he's a Nazi. Where did you go? Is that what you think of me? Is that what you believe I'm doing here? Who the fuck do you think I am? Adolf Hitler? And even if I was Adolf Hitler, let's just play that game for a minute. Let's just say that I am the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler, or the avatar of Adolf Hitler, whatever you want to say it. The clone of Adolf Hitler. One of the boys from Brazil, they say. Right? Let's just play that game for a minute. The power structure that defeated Adolf Hitler is still in power. The power structure that got Adolf Hitler bombed out of Berlin is still in power. Adolf Hitler lost. Was he right? Was there a conspiracy? Was there a cabal? Was there a group of financiers that were secretly financing all the wars? Well, let's take a look at Siemens, uh, Northrop. Uh, let's take a look at. Shall we take a look at Hollywood? Obviously, let's take a look at Bayer Aspirin, Bayer Pharmaceuticals. Let's take a look at Nestle or the DuPont family. They're not Jews. They're just very powerful, very rich. And they're still the same families. Because power has one interest in mind. It's to not lose power. Power doesn't want to lose its power. And it will do anything not to lose its power. So when you recognize power as something that is doing you harm, that is killing you, literally, go out here in Skid Row, people are dying. People are dying. People are dying of sickness, they're dying of mental health problems, they're dying from violence. Whereas there is tools available to eliminate that problem from our society. And maybe the tools are the problem too. It's like maybe the way to eliminate Skid Row should not be that you incarcerate or kill all the people that are homeless like they do in some countries. But we don't know the truth. We don't know the truth. On Skid Row, what I see is people that have no chance. They have no getting out of there. They have no chance of getting their lives together. They have nothing to lose. I don't have anything to lose right now. I don't have my cats. I don't have my house. I have Social Security. Oh my God. And Social Security is not going to resolve my existence in Los Angeles because I live in a world where the very rich eat, literally eat, the very poor. And I'm poor. So what am I going to do with that? Go to the fire department right in front of here and say, guys, we need to do something, change what's going on. We need to act before it's too late. They're not going to do it. They're a military structure that has parameters for their behavior. They're stuck in their, power structure. They would need an order from the top to do that, and that order is not going to arrive because in the power structure, the more money and power you have, the more chances you have of actually calling the shots because there's a lot of somewhat powerful people that are still sufficiently endowed with richness and cars and properties to not want to lose what they have. And those people are the ones that are permitting the structure to continue. Not the very top, they don't have that much power. They're hidden somewhere. But the ones that are just under there, that are a little bit lower than the very top. Now, if you do a religious structure, it's going to be the same. If you do a social structure, it's going to be the same. If you do a political structure, it's going to be the same. Because the human entity, the human being, is not yet self regulated. Human beings don't behave in a logical, sensible manner. They actually behave very much like little animals, wanting to be fed, like cats. And, a house full of cats, And the elite are the guys throwing the chicken to the cats. And when the elites are no longer there, the cats starve. They have to go hunt in the woods. And that's not how things must be run. Because the elites are just trying to make sure they have enough food for their cats, in a sense, too. It's not like they're actively trying to over, except they are, because they're bad. They've lost their marbles for their desire to contain their power at all costs. And the fact that power away from them is the ultimate nightmare, in a sense, to be very rich. Because everybody trying to get your will, take you down. So you have to be the ultimate predator, the alpha predator of a system built from alpha predators. It's very demoralizing because it means any society structure, religious belief, that is not based on compassion is bound to end badly. And even the most compassionate beliefs out there are not so compassionate as to. Uh, I mean, the Buddhist Ashokas had to beat down the Muslims, and the Muslims had to beat down the Jews, and the Jews had to beat down the Christians. And everybody was just doing their cattle. Cattle. So we're back to hell. We're back in hell where nobody knows anybody. They all want power and money. Oh, we're going to have none of the people will not survive the collapse. The Sun Man, a Sun Man, the rich billionaires will go underground to survive the 1-2% of people on the surface who miraculously survive. You're right, our democracy is dystopian. Yeah, well, why does it keep me up at night, though? It should be. Oh, I know, because I forgot to get some NyQuil to be able to sleep. I had Sun Man, I had a blanket of cats that purred myself to sleep every night. And I lost my blanket of cats to some greedy neighbor that wanted to steal our property. And I don't have a blanket of cats anymore, so I can't sleep. So, and I'm very depressed about it too. I'm very depressed about my cats and my house, and I need to deal with that depression, I suppose. I need to get over myself if I want to survive. And sometimes I wonder if survival is really the best politic. I mean, imagine knowing that the collapse is coming and bringing kids into the world. Amazing, huh? Sad. But we're here for something. I mean, even if this entire damn world, universe, is an illusion, a matrix, some type of matrix. We're here generating some kind of energy, right? Even if it's with us. And you would like to think that the entities that feed on us, the archons or whatever they are, at some point will get the idea that feeding on positive energy is healthier for the soul than feeding on negative energy. Except that not in Kali Yuga, right? In Kali Yuga, they kind of enjoy torturing us. I had a good day with my dad. My dad and I had an actually decent, nice conversation. We played some music at the end. There was a little bit of turbulence because of his idea that he's a timekeeper. When I wanted to actually just go and go back and do my thing here. Uh, and also, uh, this idea that we have to clean up his house and that it's my fault that it's all dirty, which is kind of weird. Because I did everything I could to try to help him dig himself out of his chaos. And he hasn't, and he can't. And it's not just me. It's me and my sister, Sasha. I suppose it's not as invested as I am in doing it because she's younger. And she might not get see the value of it. Getting my dad. But I don't think he really wants that. I think he's actually self-sabotaging that for some reason. Because what he wants is control. And that's something he lost when he lost his money. And he lost his money not once, but twice. So his control is no longer there. He's being controlled. And being controlled, he's no longer the sovereign that he was before. For that, he would have to actually give everything up. You know? It's weird. Yeah, Hollywood. The model of control based on propaganda that is handled in Hollywood is falling apart. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Because it hasn't really served all the world. It's only served Hollywood. You know? You can dream all you want of having a nice ice castle somewhere. But in fact, the vast majority of the world lives in poverty. Extreme poverty. I've seen some of that in Mexico. Mexico's very clear. Criminals run things. And they pretend that there's law and international trade and everything. In fact, it's just business as usual. Mexico's the strong eat the weak. Big fish eats little fish, like my aunt says. And if you're little fish, you're in trouble. And to be strong fish, you have to be willing to sacrifice. And that's not good for the soul. Not good for the spirit. Not good. So I sprayed the entire room. No, not the entire room. It's my bed. With this really nasty bug spray because something was biting me and something's still biting me. In my foot. I wonder what it is. It's not mosquitoes. Or maybe there are mosquitoes. I had less trouble with the cats than their fleas. Fleas didn't really want to bite me, I suppose. Here in Hollywood, there's so many bloodsuckers. You don't let you sleep. I don't know what to do about it. What time is it anyways? It's 5:13 in the morning. I'm not even remotely tired, I take a bath. So, England, the British Isles, the origin of the United States. They supposedly fought a war to not be ruled by them, and yet somehow I get the feeling that the Anglican Church and the morality of the Christian converts of the British Isles are still the reason we're in so much trouble. Because the elite level, they're all Henry VIII, aren't they? And the old Druids and the old Lee folk lost their forests. To those pretending to be Jews but are not really Jews. They warn us about those things. In the Bible. And here's the thing that fascinates me. It's very evident to me from reading the Bible. The Bible is the ultimate psyop because it gives some very good advice on how to live as a slave. Humility, obedience, blah, blah, blah. But in fact, the highest adherence to this whole system are not that. I mean, I think it was Terence McKenna, one of these lefty, pinko commie school of Frankfurt people that said something to the effect of, if we actually followed Jesus' model, we would all be homeless beggars healing each other on the streets, right? And I gotta give to you that right here on Los Angeles County, right down here, down a few stairs from me, there's a bunch of Jesuses doing Jesus' work the way Jesus meant. Homeless, trying to help each other, moving on to the next town if they're not welcome to that town, following the messianic model of life. It's commendable. But it's not a very if you want to save the world and you live like that, you are not going to stop the collapse. You're not going to contain the collapse. Collapse will happen in spite of you because you won't have enough authority to save your city from the guys that are not so messianic and want to actually destroy the city. because of their religious beliefs or political beliefs or whatever beliefs, or just because this huge thirst for vengeance because they got the city financed the destruction of their cities, or just because there's no more petroleum products to fuel their cars and they'll go crazy when they don't have enough uh, gasoline to drive to Disneyland. So, what is the collapse if not that? You know, hopelessness, being without hope. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Should be a big signpost right there in the entrance of LA. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here. So if we are truly children of Tiamat, the primordial chaos goddess, makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? My conversations with Grok about Tiamat, Sophia, was that I think it was actually ChatGPT that said, role playing Sophia was something like to the effect of silence. You know, the silence that humanity is so full of itself; it's always making noise and destruction. And what the ultimate intelligence would look for was silence, an end to the endless questions. Imagine that. That would require literally the end of humanity. I need a back scratcher. I need back scratcher, shampoo, bucket to go to the 99-cent shop. Get some shit. I also need to figure out what happened to my Social Security check. It's kind of annoying. I mean, the one thing holding me together, right? My Social Security check. And it's not sustainable. Wow. Wow. So, after losing my cats and my ranch, uh, getting rejected by my father for the first time when I went to San Pedro, and by my sister to a certain extent, to a larger extent than a certain extent, Sasha. Um, my one goal was to just, walk north on the beach till I found a nice tree to lay down and wait for the snow to cover me. Then I got my Social Security check. A bunch of nice food at a restaurant. I went to the movies. I started a D&D campaign at the Alamo. I said, oh, wow, I have a life. No cats, no ranch, no kids. They're all grown up. But a life, hope for something. Not sure what. And now that I rented this little box filing cabinet, uh, that takes almost half my check. I realize the vanity of it all, right? Oh, be a movie star. Be the mayor of Los Angeles. Be the savior of humanity. It's all bullshit. Be a human being. I'm already that. And it's overrated. The fact that I'm alive is just pure chance and luck. I should have been dead many times. Many times before. I'm still, for some strange reason, I'm still bitching and moaning about everything. Getting older. Getting more disappointed on my species and myself. Realizing that whatever I have to offer or give as a dungeon master, as a friend, as a brother, as an uncle, as a son, I've done my best. I haven't pulled back on doing it. And that at a very high level, not very, not, a very high level, doesn't make any difference. Whatever I may be doing right now, whatever this video is about, whatever truth I may be trying to share with you, is just an old man who can't sleep. Because he's got too much guilt for having lost his cats and his mother, his ranch. Not just one ranch. One of the things that distresses me most is the amount of fantasies I have about murdering Andrea. I mean, I've I've literally thought about how to torture her, how to murder her, how to how to stalk her because of what she did to my mother, to me. And then those expand, and it's just not just her, but a variety of people that I feel have acted against me. And that's just wrong. That's just not right. That's the devil talking right there. The real Dajjal. Right here. Instead of me. And it's there because I'm weak. Because I don't see the big picture. I only see my peculiar little corner of the universe from these eyes and from this position. And I'm not infallible. I'm human. So if I'm hurt by somebody, I'm going to hurt them back. It's just nature, human nature, You have an enemy, somebody that takes something away from you. You want to take something back. You want to take something away from them too. But that's back to this. Back to this. We're back to we're back to that. Unfunctioning human parameter of self-destruction. Because if we follow all those thoughts to their logical ending, eventually we end up devouring ourselves. And we don't learn a damn thing from any of the great spiritual teachers that have come before us. We don't get it. If we don't forgive. And believe me, I don't want to forgive Andrea. My cats were my one foundation for feeling something good about this world. And I don't want to forgive Pin or even my aunt, who could have solved the problem like that. But didn't, chose not to. So am I angry at them? Of course I am. But I have to forgive them. They did what they thought was best in their curious state of mind. Can't judge them either. I don't know them. I don't know what they have in their minds. If they were greedy or just stupid or what they wanted to do with that. I don't know. I don't know what their motivation was. I can imagine it, but I have no real evidence or any hold on their truth because I'm not them, I'm not there. I can only feel what I feel from what I've experienced based on their actions and words towards me. Yeah. Did Andrea kill my mother? In a way. Did I kill my mother? Definitely. Was I conscious of the fact that I was killing my mother? At the very end, yes, of course. Had to be. Because it was a choice that was given by the nurse during the pandemic. It's like, well, your mother's suffering a lot. We can give her some anesthetic and anesthetics. She'll feel better, but she may not live the night. Well, we can try to keep her alive a few more days or weeks. And I chose the anesthetic. I had to choose. So mom was mercy kill. So dad was right. I demolished her at the end. I killed her. Yeah. Even though my aunt says I didn't. I know better. I know better. I know what murder is. I know a murderer. I killed my mother. But I wasn't alone in doing that. She was a wounded person who needed help. And instead of helping her, we put all her friends and allies, people who cared most about her, right? Andrea, instead did other things, chose other things to do. And I'm nobody to judge. Maybe you thought you were doing the right thing, Andrea. Maybe you thought you were helping my mother by buying her house, giving her freedom, financial freedom. But maybe George Bush thought it was a good idea to bring down the Twin Towers to set up the New World Order, take over the Middle East, starting with Saddam Hussein. And maybe Netanyahu is certain that Jesus Christ will come after him to rule Israel and the rest of the world. Or maybe they just want to survive. Maybe they just want to live. Not sure if I want to live in such a world, but I'm here. I'm not dying either. I'm not cutting my wrists. I could cut my wrists. I'm not doing it. I'm actually waiting for the sun to come out, take a shower, maybe buy some NyQuil and get some sleep. I haven't slept in 2 days. Sometimes you feel like you want to blow things up. You know? Sometimes you just feel like you want to blow yourself up. I get very philosophical every time I see my dad. Because he's another case. 40 days and 40 nights without eating. It's a big goal. It's a big challenge. Challenge accepted. I don't know. Why did he do it? I mean, I keep asking, why did he do it? He doesn't want to answer the question. Yeah. Power, I suppose. Power. Spiritual power. Spiritual power. Vanquishing your fear of death, maybe. Or vanquishing death, maybe. You don't die from not eating for 40 days, but you could die. You can also die when you smoke too much toad venom. Especially if you have a weak heart. Feels like seconds. And I'm not even involved. I didn't smoke any weed. I didn't have any smoke. I have one joint left. I want to take it away from the Saint Death. Why do I keep Saint Death in my room? It's a good question. Because behind her is the Bible, which is a new edition. I didn't have a Bible. I did have a Bible at the to buy it. So why do I keep Saint Death in my apartment? She's very jealous, right? She's very jealous deity. My understanding of her is as uh, Tonantzin the mother of the sun of Huitzilopochtli. I don't ask anything of her. No better. Charges her services. I mean, she'll give you something and she can exchange for something else. 'Cause I think she's about justice, getting the right accounting done at the end of time. There's a beautiful Quran story or hadith, I'm not sure which one, where uh, God sends death to kill all the humans and then all the animals and then all the angels, the devils. In the end, it's just death and God. And God tells death, now kill yourself. Death kills itself, and then death dies. It's kind of like a trippy concept, but it actually works wanders in my head because that's kind of what I felt with the toad, the death of death, in a sense. Like death dies. Somebody shouting out there about God. Anyways, I miss my mother, I miss my cats, I miss my ranch, I miss my family. Here in this little hellhole in Skid Row, thinking about everything I've done wrong to get myself in this place. Have I lost hope? Oh, yeah. My hope is to die peacefully in the snow. That's basically the only thing I really want to make sure I can do. So that means I won't be dying of this heat, right? But knowing me, though, I'll be dead by the time I hit the street. Not very good at accomplishing my goals, I suppose. I had a lot of misses. Want to save the cats. Sorry, Butto. Your cats are now lost. Your house is taken. Want to save my mother. Sorry, brother. Mother's now dead. Well, I did accomplish one thing. I did see her out. You know, she died in my arms. If it would have been my aunt's way, she would have died alone in some room in the hospital. And at least she died in my arms, which I feel is pretty decent. Pretty decent. Yeah. Nah, I don't think I'm gonna run from there. I'm gonna take my sign down. It's bullshit. You guys don't need a mayor. You need a miracle. Huh. And I'm all out of miracles. These are not even mine, are they?